Hi everyone, this is Marcus with DTF Station, and in this video, we will go over the installation process of the Aries 113 UV printer. First, get a flathead screwdriver and some pliers. Note, make sure to wear heavy-duty gloves for the uncrating portion of this process, as the crate's frame is made up of sharp metal edges. Take the screwdriver and pull up this notch as shown. Once lifted halfway, use the pliers to straighten them upwards. Repeat this process for every notch around the lid of the crate. Now use the screwdriver to pry open the lid. Once you get a good grip, carefully lift up the lid. Repeat the same steps to the side notches as shown. Once complete, repeat on the other side of the crate. Now you should be able to push open the front, then the back, and then the side should open up. Note, this is a dehumidifier used only for shipping the printer to you. You may throw this away. Take a Phillips screwdriver and remove these screws from this crossbar. Carefully remove the crossbar and unpack the crate of all accessories. Now remove the screws on both sides. Once the screws are removed, with another person, carefully lift the printer off the crate onto the ground. Now start to unpack all of the parts and accessories. Once unpacked, take a look at both of these images and make sure that you have all the parts and supplies shown here. If you are missing anything, immediately contact a DTF Station representative for assistance. Note, for the next steps of the installation, you will need a set of Allen wrenches, a Phillips screwdriver, tape, a snap blade, and scissors. Now, locate these two pieces. Orient them as shown, and use 3 bolts and an Allen wrench to secure the two pieces together. Next, flip it to the other side and repeat the same steps by adding 3 more bolts to the other side. Now use 3 more bolts to secure the top side as shown. Now locate 2 more of these identical parts and secure it the same way you did with the others. Now locate this crossbar and attach it to the left leg that you just built as shown. Each foot will have a letter, either L or R, to represent which side they go on. You will need a total of 6 bolts to secure this piece on. Once complete, stand up the leg and attach crossbar to the right side as shown. Use 6 bolts again to secure the crossbar to the leg. Now get the second crossbar, turn the stand around, and attach it the same way you did with the first crossbar. Now find these 4 black caps and use them to cover these 4 holes. Now locate this piece and place it here as shown. Then place the opposite piece on the opposite side. Now use 4 bolts each secure both pieces. Now locate these 2 bars and place them through the holes as shown. You are now starting to build the media A feed reel. Then find the feed motor system and route them through the bars. Each piece of the feed system has a sticker noting which side they go on. Once the bars have been centered, use these long bolts on both sides to secure the bars down. Before you add the bolts on the left side, find this additional piece, place it here, then secure the bolt on top. Note the different bolts being used here. Now find these two arms, and then secure them right above the previous system that you just installed. You are now building the protective film take-up reel. You will need 4 bolts for each arm. Note the orientation of each arm. Now get 2 of these bars and place them through each of the arms as shown. Before the second arm is fully secured, get the take-up motor system and install it as shown. Now use these bolts to secure the bars into place. Now turn the entire system around. Find these 2 arms and secure them to the leg right underneath the left and right letters. You are now building the media take-up reel. You'll need 4 bolts for each of these arms as well. Now find 2 more bars, place them through the arms, then install the motor system, the same way you did with the previous setups. Use bolts to secure the bars once centered. Now with one additional person, lift up the printer and place it on top of the stand. Looking at it from the bottom, you will see these holes that will align with these pins. Once in place, use 4 bolts on each leg to secure the printer onto the stand. Now find this cable from the media take-up reel and connect it to this port underneath the printer, and rotate the outer ring clockwise to tighten and secure the cable into the port. Next, find this waste tank holder and attach it with 4 bolts to the side of the printer leg. Use a long Allen wrench, route it through these holes to secure all bolts. Now get the waste tank and place it into the holder. Now head to the side of the printer, pull down on these 2 notches to open the side panel. Locate this bag and pull out the waste tube. Attach the waste tube to the bottom of the printer here as shown, and secure using 4 bolts. Now let the waste tube drop near the waste tank, and you want to cut the tube at about this height. If you let the tube stay at a longer length, it can create negative pressure, causing issues and backing up the system. Once at the proper length, route it into the waste tank through this hole on the top. Once complete, press this button. Now, from the inside of the printer, locate these 3 tubes. Route them through this hole, which connects directly to the waste tube that you just secured. Once complete, close up the side panel. Now go to the protective film take-up reel, find this cable, and plug it into this port right above. Rotate the outer ring clockwise to secure the cable. Open up the top lid of the printer and unscrew these bolts. This is the mounting bracket for the printed carriage so that it does not shift during transport. Once removed, store the bracket in a safe place in case you ever have to transport the printer again. Now place the bolts back into place. You can now close the top lid. Plug in the power cable. Make sure to press firmly to get a secure connection. Plug the opposite end into a power source, then press the power switch on the back. Open the front cover. Undo the emergency button by rotating it. This should power on the printer. Give the printer some time to power up. You'll know when it's ready once the status shows idle. At that time, power off the printer from the back. Now head over to the media B and remove these 2 pins. This will allow you to pull this media holder out. Now take a screwdriver and loosen the screw on the side. Then remove this entire end by sliding it off. Now take your media and route it onto the bar. Make sure to check that the orientation of your media is correct before proceeding. Now place this end cap back on until snug. Tighten this screw back up. Now take the entire setup and place it back onto the media B feeder. Now bring the pins back that you moved earlier and secure it back into place. Now turn these knobs to fully secure the system. Now head over to the take-up reel. Loosen these knobs in order to allow the motor system to slide. Take your media core and place it into the system. You want to line up the media core to the media bead up above. Once lined up, tighten these knobs to secure. Next, head over to the media A feeder. Loosen these knobs. Open up the motor system, place the media into the system in a way that it unrolls through the bottom as shown. Lining this up to the laminating roll, or media B roll, is extremely important. Once lined up, you can adjust the placement of this bracket in order to keep its position consistent. Once in place, tighten both knobs to secure the position. Now roll out some media. Now route the media under these rods, but over this rod as shown. Then route it under and around this last rod to pull the media towards you. At this time, you're checking if the media is still centered and has consistent tension on both sides. Once confirmed, feed the media through and to the front of the printer. Now turn this knob clockwise to open up the heating rollers. Now feed the media through as shown. Make sure to pull out enough media to work with. Then take an Allen wrench and place it through this hole on the feed reel to jam the roll. This will allow you to pull the film taut without the roll unraveling. When you pull the film taut, this will allow you to feel out when the film is straight and even tension is created on both sides of the film. Once ready, close the heating rollers by rotating this knob counterclockwise. At this time, it is good practice to gently pull the roll from the back. You are checking for 1, if the film is straight, and 2, if there is even tension on both sides. This is to prevent the chance of the film's adhesive from making contact with the heat rollers during a long production day. Now head to the back of the printer to the protective film take-up reel. Loosen these knobs and spread out the motor system. Get your media core in place. Centered to the media. Then time these knobs. Head to the front of the printer and with your snap blade, score a line across the media. For your initial setup, do not peel this protective film off. Not peeling the film off will make the adjustment process easier when you have to set the alignment with a microscope. You will now be able to pull off the protective film as shown. Now peel the protective film towards the back. Gently pull on the film to make sure that it is aligned straight towards the media core, and with some tape, secure the film to the media core. And for this take-up system, turn it on by switching the switch to the 1 position. Now, this next step is very important. Pull out some media from the media B roll and place it over onto the media A. It is very important that media B fully covers media A. Media A has an adhesive surface and you need to prevent that adhesive glue from sticking to the heating roller as it prints. If media B does not cover media A properly, you need to adjust the position of the media A feed reel, since the media B feed reel cannot shift left and right very much. At this time, go ahead and remove the Allen wrench from the feed reel. Now turn the printer on from the back. Note, if you are about to set your adjustments for your initial setup, this heater must be turned off before proceeding. Slowly feed more media out by pressing on the down arrow button. Keep an eye closely on the media to make sure none of the areas are getting lifted. Once media side A and B are married, it must be attached to the take-up reel, or else the film can easily bundle up at the heat rollers. Power on the take-up reel by switching it to the 2 position. Also, always remember to check the new X position whenever new media is loaded, and input that position into Hosensoft as shown here. Now we will head over to our computer and install both Digirip and Hosensoft. First, let's make sure that you have the Quick Start Guide. This quick start guide should have been included in a USB drive that comes with your printer. But some of these guides may not have clickable links. Please contact us if you need a different version. If you do have the clickable PDF, go ahead and click Manuals, Install Software in Drive. This will take you to a Google Drive folder. On this page, go ahead and download the Hosensoft install file. Once downloaded, go ahead and open the file. You may need to first extract the file. Select the file and click Extract. Then click Extract again. If you don't have a program for extracting zip files, you can download and install 7-Zip Extractor from the Google Drive folder. You can simply double-click the file, then click Install. With that, you can right-click the file, show more options, find 7-Zip, and choose the Extract option. Note, even if you have a program for extracting zip files, if you run into a RAR file, you will need the 7-Zip Extractor to open that file format. Once the file is extracted, we recommend moving that folder out of your Downloads folder. Here we'll be moving it to the desktop. Now heading to the folder and double-click Print EXP. Click Extract. This will start installing Hosensoft. Once a software opens, you may get this window. Make sure to select Allow Access. Before we change the language, we need to secure a connection between the printer and the computer first. Make sure by this step, the printer is connected to the computer via Ethernet cable. If your computer does not have an Ethernet port, you will need to purchase a separate adapter in order to make the connection. The connection must be direct and cannot pass through a router, splitter, or Ethernet switch. Make sure to use an Ethernet to USB-C cable. An Ethernet to a standard USB-A cable will not work properly. When you see this icon, blink, red, this indicates that you do not have a proper connection with the printer. If this icon is blinking red, follow the steps on the screen. Click on this button. Then go to this tab on the left. Then click this button. Once you click that button, a new window will open. Go to Ethernet and open the drop-down list. Select Ethernet option. Next, go to the IP address section and enter the following IP address, 192.168.127.58. Please double-check that you have entered the IP address correctly. Next, click his button. Then click OK. Once the correct IP addresses is entered, this icon will now be a solid green, indicating a solid connection with the printer. Once complete, close the window. And now select the second button from the top. Go to the second tab on the new window, and in the drop-down list, select English, then click this button to confirm. Then click OK. Close the window. Right-click the Hosensoft icon on the bottom and pin the software to the taskbar. Click this Save icon to save all settings. Click this button. Now reopen the software, and this program should now be in English. Check this icon again to make sure the connection with the printer is still live. Next, we will set the margins for the film. Click on Setting on the very top, and you will see this option for X margin. If you look at the printer, you'll see this ruler on the top. You will use this ruler to decide where your X margin should be set to. If you look here, the film's edge is at 2 centimeters or 20 millimeters. To give it some room, you should set it to a minimum of 25 millimeters, but we're going to be extra cautious here and set the margin to 40 millimeters. Next, head over to the Auto Jump White section. Make sure this type is set to off. For the occlusion setting, keep the mode set to custom and percentage set to 80%. Next, go to Common Setting category or Auto Clean and make sure that Auto Clean is blank as shown. Those were the main settings to check for, but make sure all of your other settings match what you see here on the screen. Now on the top right, select the icon to save the settings. Now let's install DGRIP. Let's head back to the Google Drive folder. Locate and right-click on the DGRIP install file and select Download. Click Download anyway. Once the download is complete, you'll see the install file in zip format in your Downloads folder. Just like earlier, go ahead and unzip the file. We'll go ahead and use the native software on Windows. Select the file, click Extract All up on top. Then click Extract in this new window. Once complete, the new unzipped folder will open. Go ahead and double-click the install file. Select your English and then click OK. Click Next. Accept the license agreement, then click Next. Continue to follow the screen until installation begins. Once the install is complete, click Finish. Now search for DGRIP and open the software. Once this window is open, confirm that your units are set to inches and the number of decimal places set to 2. Click OK. Now this new window will ask you to register your new software. Click on this link above. Fill in your information here, check this box to subscribe, and once completed, click Register My Product down below. Now go to your Start menu and open the software again. This should now open DGRIP. Click Next. Next again, make sure your computer is connected to the internet. Click Install Printer, select the Aries 113 UV DTF, then click OK. Click Next. They should now start to download and install the Aries 113 driver. Click Next. For the port, select TCP/IP. Go to the Remote Printing tab and input the following IP address: 127.0.0.1. Then click OK. This will validate the connection, even though it says unable to validate connection. Still click OK. Then click Next. Then click Finish. Your Windows firewall may try to block certain features of the software. Make sure to click Allow Access. Now that the software is open, go to Queue, select Manage Queues. Select TCP/IP. Go to the Remote Printing tab and re-verify that the IP address that was inputted earlier has remained the same. Once confirmed, you can close that window. Note, do not click this Install button under the Control Panel column. Now close this window. Down here, you can set your profile settings. For this example, we will use the 360 by 1800 production res profile. Now, go to Devices and select Quick Print Test. They should produce a test print to ensure that the connection to your printer is solid. Adjust the print size to about 1 inch wide since this is just to test the printer, then click the print icon up top to begin printing. Note, for your very first print, the print may error out as it may have trouble acquiring the IP address. Try printing it again and it should connect properly on the second try. Once the test print prints, move on to the next step. Now that the software is installed, let's fill up the inks. Each ink container will be labeled on its cap, what color it is. Reminder, this is UV ink. Do not shine a flashlight into the bottles or containers to see the ink levels. You should be able to see inside without a flashlight, and you can also periodically press the ink alarm button to see if any of the alarms go off notifying you that the ink level is low. For both white and varnish inks, make sure to shake the bottles for at least 10 seconds, then let sit for a few minutes to let the bubbles settle before pouring into the printer's ink containers. Go ahead and start filling up the inks. Note, the CMYK inks do not need to be shaken as much as the white and varnish inks. We still do recommend shaking the CMYK inks at least once a month though. Now press this button. If any of the lights start flashing, you need to fill in more ink for those colors. Now head over to the control panel and click Menu. Now head down to Head Maintenance. Then select Fill Ink. Then click Enter when you get to 2 head. Perform this fill ink process for 2 minutes. During the process, keep an eye on the waste tube to see if you see ink flowing out of them. This is a sign that the ink is flowing through the printer properly. The 2 men have passed. Click Cancel to end the fill-in. Now press Cleaning to perform a head cleaning. Once complete, perform a nozzle check by going to Menu, Head, Maintenance, then select Head Status. You will need a flashlight to see the varnish and white ink patterns. Also, the white ink channels here will be difficult to see due to the ink and film both being white. Use a blue light at an angle to examine these nozzle checks. Make sure that you are getting at least 90% of the nozzles firing. As needed, you may need to perform a fill ink for a longer period of time, followed by another head cleaning until you get the proper amount of nozzles firing. In some cases, you may also need to do a manual pull using a syringe from the waste tube. Once you do get a proper nozzle check pattern, we'll now start the adjustments. Before beginning, we highly recommend getting some type of microscope to determine the accuracy of your adjustments that are to follow. Varnish ink and white ink are extremely difficult to see. Inside Hosensoft, head to Adjust, Step, Adjust, then click Print Adjust. This was mentioned earlier, but to reiterate, do not remove the protective film here. There is no need to add the laminating film, and also make sure that your heat rollers are turned off during the adjustment process. Once the pattern is printed, you are looking for the point in the two parallel lines where they intersect perfectly. Here, as you can see, -4 is probably the most accurate point. Head back to the software and input -4 next to Print, Adjust, click Calculate, then click Print, Adjust again. Now look at the new pattern. If done correctly, the new intersecting point should be at 0. Now in the software, head to Headspace on the left, then into the vertical tab, then click Print Adjust. Now take a look at the new pattern. You are looking for the block where the center horizontal line lines up perfectly with the outer horizontal lines. Here it looks like -3 would be the best choice. And to make the adjustment, instead of inputting -3, you will need to get the sum of -3 and the current value here. In this case, the sum of 444 and -3 would be 441. Once complete, click Print, Adjust again. Take a look at the new pattern. When done correctly, the new, correct point should be at 0. Now head back to the software, go to Bidirectional Adjust on the left, then click Print Adjust. Now take a look at the new pattern here. You are looking for the point at which the vertical lines line up the best. Here it looks like the best choice would be +2. Head back to the software, and just like the last step, you'll get the sum of the current value and your new selection as your new input. So the sum of 4.5 and +2 gives you 6.5. Now click Print Adjust again. When done correctly, the most aligned pattern should be at 0. Alright, that's it for your full installation of the Aries 113. Thanks for watching.